Here till 10 o'clock, of course. In 2009, says John in Germany, I made the best decision of my life leaving the UK for Germany. It's no paradise here, but my God, when I go back to the UK visiting family, what an absolutely poorly run hole the UK has become. And Graham from Welling, he says, so when the 50 per week are selected, he's talking about the migrants, they will appeal and be here for years. In the meantime, we will still take the 50 per week exchange into this country. So great, an extra 50 per week coming in, give me strength. Well, that's the thing. No matter which way you cut it, this ridiculous new plan of Keir Starmer's and Yvette Cooper's will actually result in more people coming into Britain than ever before. And except the difference will be that they will be actually coming in legally rather than illegally. Let's get a voice note from Louise.
Morning, Mike. Louise here from Sheffield. What worries me is if they actually eradicate the small boats, let's not forget all the thousands of them are coming in on the back of lorries and things like that. We're not paying any attention to that. What about if they do this deal with France and it's 1 in, 1 out, or 17 in, 1 out, however many it is? Are they going to be honest with the figures? Because I'm presuming they're not going to be coming through the channel. They're going to be coming in through the dead of night on planes.
I mean, just ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely and utterly ridiculous. Just another illustration, really, and it says this in The Sun today, of our broken borders.
Britain's broken borders from The Sun.
Now, far be it from me to big myself up, but I've got a piece in the paper today. Julia Atherley is joining me now, Home Affairs correspondent at The Sun. Page 10 today is written by me. It's all about the uselessness of this 1 in, 1 out policy. And as I said, I mean, I think I sort of sum it up best in the final, 3 paragraphs from the end. Of all the harebrained schemes to smash the gangs, stop the boats, fix the system and secure our borders, this is perhaps the worst one of all. Because it doesn't do anything other than actually make it worse, doesn't it? Morning.
Morning. So, the fact of this is it's actually got to work, and you've got to get people, for it to work, you've got to have, I think, hundreds of people being returned every week. And at the moment, we don't even know if anyone's going to be sent back. I mean, the numbers at the moment, the rumour is about 50 per week. That's right. 1 in 17 people coming across. But as we've reported today, the human rights claims, the lawyers that are going to get involved, in the same way that the flights to Rwanda never actually took off, these returns, there's going to be so many barriers to actually sending anyone back to France. I'm not entirely sure it's ever going to happen.
No. And the worst part of it is that they're now offering the chance for people to apply to come here legally. So when they're in France, they can actually get online, presumably with a computer supplied by somebody in Europe for them. They can apply online, and if they can reach the right sort of number of points, because they've got either friends or family here, or they're fleeing a vulnerable situation, or they feel their lives are in danger in some way, they will actually get permission to come here. So it's not then clear how they get here, but they can presumably then come to Britain and live here legally.
Yeah, we've asked the Home Office how these returns are actually going to take place. Are people going to be bussed over, for example? And they've not told us, they've refused to say. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it is going to be, they say they're going to keep it balanced. I mean, how they're going to do that remains to be seen. How it's going to be exactly 1 in, 1 out, we don't know. But yeah, I mean, people, and for those people that are in France, if they've already tried to come across the channel unsuccessfully, they're not going to be eligible for that. So that's still a huge number of thousands of people still currently in France that still want to come to the UK but aren't eligible for that scheme.
Exactly right. And I mean, I would be slightly suspicious, at the very least, of our ability to kind of double check these people's credentials, because I mean, if you're dealing with thousands and thousands of people who are kind of practically marauding, we see them on the beaches of northern France, are you seriously going to tell me that we're going to have some kind of capability to kind of have a booth or an office of some kind that they're going to walk into and say, these are my papers, here's my passport, this is where I come from, I've never tried to get to Britain before? How will they possibly know any of that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these people that are coming through those routes just don't have those documents, so there's no way to prove that. So yeah, we don't actually know how that's going to work in reality.
That's the problem. We don't know how much of it is going to work. And yesterday, Yvette Cooper would not give any details as to where these people who are going to be detained when they come here are going to be detained. You know, I've been checking around the south coast of England, and there doesn't appear to be a detention centre anywhere near Dover. There's a place called Manston, which is where a lot of the immigrants get taken when they first come in, which is already overcrowded because it's a sort of a holding pen, if you like, before they get moved off to a hotel. There doesn't appear to be anywhere that they've earmarked for detaining them. And then she says, Yvette Cooper, they will be detained within days, which means presumably they're not going to be detained at their point of arrival.
Yeah, so what happens when people come over in small boats? They first go to a place called Western Jetfoil,
Right.
which is where they go through initial checks, they get searched, they have like health screening, very initial. Then they get bused to Manston, which you say is an old kind of army barracks in Kent. And then they have the initial asylum interview, you know, when they sit in front of someone and say, I'd like to claim asylum.
Right.
They're asked how old they are, for example. And we've reported in recent weeks that something like, I think it's about half of everyone coming across is claiming to be under 18.
Right.
Or rather that half people that say they're under 18 then go on to be proven to actually be over 18. But at that initial point, the Home Office, unless they can prove beyond reasonable doubt they're over 18, they take them at their word that they're a child. And if you're a child, you can't be detained, so you can't be held under this scheme. So that's another kind of loophole that,
Right.
you know, you can see it being exploited.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this all week about a number of things, whether it's about the migrant hotel protests, whether it's about, you know, giving away identities of migrants who might or might not be charged with crimes, and whether that's going to be withheld. You wonder whether, and even the whole Palestinian thing, you wonder whether anybody in Downing Street has a conversation with the Prime Minister or the Home Secretary to say, how do you think this is going to play out? You know, when people like you and I start asking questions, what answers are you going to give? It's almost as though they don't think it through and they're not prepared to actually explain what they're doing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, they've said they're going to be transparent and they've said they're going to release the numbers. When that will happen, will it happen? I mean, at the moment, they have a fairly regular scheme where every single day they announce how many people came over in small boats and the day before. Will it be as regular as that, or will we have to wait 3 months after the event? Are they going to tell us what's happening every day? We just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, bizarre. And let's we're going to play this just again for you because it's so ridiculous. This is Keir Starmer last night on what is going to actually happen, how it's going to work.
For the very first time, migrants arriving via completely unprecedented scale.
A nationwide crackdown on illegal workers. I didn't know about that one. Do you know about that one?
Yeah, so you remember we had our big investigation into delivery drivers working for
absolutely.
hotels. And then they had this big crackdown where they came and questioned some people that were working there. And we've been back to that specific hotel, the one in central London, in recent weeks. And the bikes are now just parked around the corner.
Right.
I mean, you know, there's always going to be ways around.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't describe that as
proper
I wouldn't describe it as a crackdown exactly, would you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a show of force, definitely. And they have definitely, I mean, the figures do show they have increased the number of illegal working visits that their enforcement teams have made over the past year. That's what their figures show.
Right.
But I mean, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to go down to the hotel. It's the one in the Barbican in central London and see that there are still people working there when they shouldn't be.
I know, absolutely extraordinary. Great to see you, Julia. Thank you very much indeed. Julia Atherley, their Home Affairs correspondent at